Apple. So if you're not familiar with it, like I say, you can buy these online. You know, this is an Auki power brick. There we go. We get to the end here. Sorry about that. So the thing is, when we start talking about these connections, okay, that's why it's very important. And nobody in this room knew that that was happening to their phone. By the way, your connections should be back by now. And if they're not, you may have to power cycle your phone. And trust me, I did not take anything off your phones. So for those of you that have seen my presentations in the past, you know that I would pull out all the pictures and then randomly throw one on the screen. Well, that proved fatal one time. So it was, you know, a picture that they didn't want to be seen, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm pretty much done there, but I just wanted to kind of give you the reality, not only of, you know, the cloud and what the magic is of the cloud, but also how easy it is for us to get to these assets. And just remember, a man in the middle doesn't have to be just here. You know, as our friend said, you know, the cable landing stations. Why is Facebook putting their servers here? Has anybody thought about that? Why is Facebook putting servers here and bringing cable from San Diego, California to here? Why is Facebook doing that? Because the Philippines is the third largest consumer of Facebook. It's worth it to them, right? And not only that, what else do they bring to the table? So here's a little statistic, and I'll close on this. So in Facebook, there's a metric that can be studied, and we found that out of every 8-hour working day in the Philippines, people are on their Facebook 4 hours and 15 minutes out of every 8-hour day. 8-hour day. That doesn't include the next, you know, 2 blocks. So figure out you're probably on Facebook about 8 hours a day. Why is the military allowing Facebook in camp on personal devices? Something else to think about. Maybe another presentation. Okay, with that, I'll close. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And a plaque of appreciation will be presented by our Commander CIS Service AFP, Commodore Marcos Y. Imperio, Philippine Navy. But first, let me read to you the citation. Yes. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Mr. Brian B2 Boriswich. In grateful recognition in his invaluable participation during the AFP Cybersecurity Summit 2023 as a subject matter expert in cloud security, given this 27th day of September 2023 at AFP COC, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Signed, Marcos Y. Imperio, Commodore, Philippine Navy, Commander, CIS Service, AFP.
So, Sir Ronald, we're done with all this, with all the lectures or lessons that we have for this 2023 AFP Cybersecurity Summit, right?
Yes, oo nga. So I believe marami sa atin sa mga audience and those joining via VTC have some questions within them, mga clarifications or doubts. This is the time, guys, ladies and gentlemen, to ask them, no, sa ating mga lecturers. Ito na po yung time para i-brought up yung mga question natin sa ating mga lecturers. By this time, we will have our panel discussion.
Okay, and have you already invited our those?
Yes, okay. By the way, we would like to invite our previous lecturers, Mr. Anjo Capella. If you're around, please proceed on stage.
May we call on as well Mr. Jermaine Flores, if you are still around. Please be here on stage.
Mr. John Paul Jaspin, if you're still around, please come on stage.
Mr. Ajit Pillay, as well as Mr. Adrian Romero and Mr. Bipol Kumra, if you're still around, may we invite you to be on stage for our panel discussion. And may we request Mr. Brian or P2 to be here with us. So while we're waiting for our other resource person who have tackled the topics we have this whole day, Sir Brian, you may take your seats here with us. So, sir, let's thank for the meantime our sponsors again who make this event possible.
We would like to thank Fortinet Philippines and
Cisco,
Elbit Systems,
Redenta,
Bowman Technologies Incorporated,
Solutions Partner,
Marove, Beyond Data Incorporated,
Continent 8,
AI Computing Systems,
Citrix,
Microdata,
Stellar Cyber,
Stellar Sat, WatchGuard,
Revolve,
Ardent Networks Incorporated, CyberCool,
Versates,
Pacific,
I1,
Exclusive Networks,
WSI,
iTraverse Solutions Incorporated,
NetScout,
MEC,
Infovan,
ComSource,
NextGen Group,
and Capstone
Capstone
Intel Corporation. So
Thank
maraming
you very
salamat po sa ating mga sponsors. For if not without them, our resounding success of this activity have not been possible. Okay, so should there be any from our audience who would like to ask our lecturers doon sa mga na-discuss earlier? Meron ba? Ito na po yung time.
I think Commander Bill Baudis have his question.
Hello. Good afternoon. Sir, Sir Kumra and Sir Brian, with the discussions that we had earlier, in your own words, how do you think a solution because Sir Kumra was discussing about building a territorial defense on the cyber domain, would you care to comment if the concept or solution would somehow help the government or the Philippines as a whole in ensuring that we are sort of safe from international cyber attacks, considering that they are focusing on the cable landing sites that facing outwards the country. Mr. Brian, sir.
Thank you, sir. Great question. So it's like any battlefield, we have to have a good defense. So the start of that is a national SOC. That is an absolute must. You have to have a National Security Operations Center, and it has to encompass both civilian and military. Now, who controls it? That's a good question. Is it civilian, is it governmental, or is it military? It needs to have that combination glued together. And then there has to be intelligence sharing between the services and PNP and NBI, DOJ. That information has to be shared. Because as we know, like with cyber crimes can happen at such a level now. You know, Philippines is the largest exporter of child pornography. Why is that? You know, I was advocating since 2017, please register the SIMs. Please register the SIMs. We finally got there, right? But it's not 100% yet. That's where some of the start is. You know, we have some organizations within the Philippines, Pinoy LOLSEC, which some are probably familiar with or not familiar with. This is a hacker group headed up by a little 20-year-old snot-nosed kid. And, you know, we visited him a couple of years back when I was working with J6, and we went up to the kid's doorstep and said, stop it. Stop attacking the Philippines. You want to attack somebody else, we can't stop you, but don't do it, right? Well, they haven't stopped. They're still doing it. But definitely a national operation center, SOC, SIM, whatever you want to call it, that has to come in play. The rest is policies. So policies are an absolute must. For instance, I mentioned, why do we allow Facebook on a military base with handheld devices in maybe secure areas? There needs to be policies against these type of things. And then, of course, the other thing are the metrics. You know, so all the companies that we're presenting here, they are excellent companies. Some of the solutions, I don't even think the power is mentioned of some of the solutions that are out there. And that's the problem I see with a lot of people that implement these products. They'll buy them because they want to get checkbox security, but they don't buy them to really protect. They just want to be able to tell the NPC, we have your gizmo, we have your VAPT, leave us alone, right? But when they get attacked, they go, what happened? Okay, there's half a dozen companies in the Philippines here that I could rattle off that have ransomware. You can have all the protections on the planet, but one click from an email bypasses them all. That shouldn't happen, right? Anybody want to add to that?
Sir, totally with you what you said. You cannot expect to install an antivirus and then think you have all the right to go to any website and it will not infect your system. It will. So policies has to be the first place to start with, but then you need to have all the controls and right solutions in place to protect you. Right, sir?
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir, thank you very much, sir, for that answer. I think Commander Bilbao is really satisfied with your answer, sir. And meron pa ba?
By the way, sir, if ever those who are a bit shy, yes, if they wanted to verbalize their questions, you could actually click on the slido.com #5872, or if your camera could still have the capacity to scan the QR code, please do it so. Para po at least if you have the confusion, if you have this thing in mind that you wanted to have the clarity about that matter, it could be answered by our expert. So we do have an online questions. And another question pa lang po, wala pang iba. So are there any efforts from the private sector to aid the government in passing the cybersecurity bill in the country?
So there are efforts, and there should be efforts from the private sector to aid the government in passing the cybersecurity bill in the country, because they're the ones who have the capacity to do so. They have the capabilities to do so. And in order to complement the technical know-how of the people in the public organizations or institutions, these private sectors should work hand in hand with them. So there are ongoing efforts for sure from the private sector. And I think that's why we have this summit to begin with.
Yes.
The reason behind this summit is so that, you know, not just the audience will hear us, but the entire Philippines will see that there is that private sector here who's willing to help in the big scale, in the national scale, willing to collaborate, willing to pass on what is good not only for the immediate parties involved, but most importantly, as what we mentioned in our presentation, the common Filipino. So, if you want, sir.
Yeah, this is a common problem I see in this space. So the problem is that as much as commercial enterprises want to contribute, the government feels they know better. That attitude has to change. And I've stated this in the United States a lot of times to our leadership, from President Bush on down, that attitude has to leave, because private sector is where the expertise is. How do you think a hacker got into the intelligence agency? Because the intelligence agency doesn't have that expertise, so they bring us in. And it's the same thing here. The expertise sits in the commercial sector. The government has to change its attitude that they don't know it all. Take as contribution.
I think, yes, a while ago has been said by Mr. Adrian, this part that we are doing is already part of the private sector. However, apparently, what is the specific thing that the private sector is actually doing aside from, it's like merchandising your platforms to us? What do you think on your own part as a private sector beyond data? What has been your contribution to us or the government in passing the cybersecurity bill, aside from those platforms being offered? What really is your own contribution or
I guess-
effort, sir?
So far, Beyond Data is, it's a company that has been born out of the fact that it wants to provide the best technological solutions to the country for its own security purposes as well as its own defense purposes. So I think it's important, like from our end, we were able to engage, I guess, with the right people in terms of enabling them to already be aware of the threat landscape first. Actually, not threat landscape, just the landscape in general. And at the same time, notifying them possible things that they could do, but at the same time, things that they have to actually share to us as the private sector. So it is actually a build of trust rather than, just trying to force it out of each other. Nothing's going to happen with that. So I believe that one major effort that we have done, I guess, over the past 18 months, I guess, of Beyond Data is actually, showing to the prospective people who can actually have the influence to be able to pass this along is, to make them more aware of the technology in layman's term, and at the same time, in a more technical sense. That is geared towards them. That's geared towards the needs of the Filipino.
Thank you, sir. So actually, itong summit na to, Cybersecurity Summit, is actually a good avenue to start. No?
Yes,
Yeah, so
correctly.
hopefully in the coming months, siguro, in a couple of times, we will be meeting again with these people in our private sector, collaborating with our military, with our government, advocating for cybersecurity in a really global national scale for the Philippines.
Tama naman kasi sinabi kanina na apparently the experts are really on the private sector when it comes to cyber thing. We are just being trained, and afterwards, that's how we became expert as well. That's the reality in life. And I think we do have another questions online, sir.
What are the key principles in a defense in-depth strategy, and how does it enhance network security? Okay, so who would like to answer?
Okay, I'll take that one. So when we talk about principles of defense in depth, we need to have layers of defense. So for example, if we need to protect a particular organization, first is the perimeter to start with. You put all the protections in the place. So known bad is kept outside, but you don't know what is still going inside. So you need to have multiple layers of defense so that if one layer is breached, there is another layer, there's a third layer to protect against that attack. Every organization talks about layers of defense, but then there is a limitation in terms of how much you can spend. How critical is the asset you are protecting? That will dictate how many layers of defense you can have in the first place.
I think Sir does have an additional answer for that question.
Yep. So I was kind of thinking about how to answer the question because it's multi-tiered. And I think if you were to ask me, because I'm from Cisco, I would answer it in two prongs, right? So if I'm from a network security perspective, I would say that you layer defense and maybe add two-tier firewalls and have an IPS. Maybe that's the way to do it. But as I was saying in my morning session is that if the perimeter is disappearing and the end user is the weakest link, then necessarily defense in depth would mean that we don't rely on just additional passwords. We add another factor, like an MFA or a biometrics, right? So I would approach defense in depth differently. So if I were to focus on the end user itself and understand that the end user is the weakest link, then that is where I will layer my security more, right? But because the question is more of network security, that's very traditional, as I said, the analogy of the castle, no? Because the old defenses was we assume that all the resource is just in one place. But what if the resource resides in different places, right? So the more important factor there is really credentials. How do I log into a cloud service? How do I log into an application that's in the cloud? It's not about a firewall. It's about a credential that you have to secure, right? So again, I would say that there's a different approach. That question would have been relevant if we still kind of live in a world where all resources are just in one place. That's why I wanted to, expound on that particular fact.
Thank you very much, sir. But let me just add up. I hope the panelists would actually affirm with me that the key principles as well is that having our the manpower really capable to be on the network security. Because as we always mention, the peopleware is really the most weakest link at all. So if ever our people are not knowledgeable, are not well equipped, it might happen that really our network security would be destroyed. Am I correct with that, sirs? Okay. So let's always ensure that our peopleware are really well knowledgeable and equipped. Marami nga po tayo equipment. However, the people who are actually activating and using those equipments are not that much knowledgeable. Wala rin. Tama po ba, sir?
Yes, sir. Spermin here would like to add some of the answers.
Yeah, with regards to security defense in depth style, obviously the first thing that we should do, as you've heard with, of course, with my friend Pito here, is that of course you first do the assessment first, right? Before doing anything else, like before purchasing and installing devices, even the tools, we should know, of course, we need to do our assignment. We need to check what are the assets that we're going to protect. Where are the assets, right? And who are the people? What are the components? So that we can define what is the right plan or what is the right equipment to protect those assets. So it's not just buying asset, putting a box on multiple segments of your network. It's more on assessing first and tailor fitting the solutions to the environment and use cases.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I think pwede tayo mag-proceed sa next question.
Yes, correct, sir.
Okay, our next question is, what are some key best practices for ensuring the security of data stored in a public cloud environment? Meron ba?
Baka maaari, dapat talaga, di ba? Yes, we do have the physical storage. However, what really is what is the edge of their company in order to secure the cloud environment or their
Yes, sir.
cloud storage?
Meron ba, sir? Who
Anyone
would like to
could answer?
I actually get this question a lot. So one of the best places to start is isolation. So if you're like an Amazon, you have a S3 bit bucket, make sure it's isolated. The other one, the use of encryption. You say, why do I need encryption? I don't have anything that classified. Everything is sensitive, in my opinion. Use the services of HSM as a hardware security modules. So don't rely on just SSL certificates to save you. use hardware security modules. And thirdly, I would say, understand what data you're putting into the cloud. As I said earlier, there's certain things you should and shouldn't do. So that's the biggest one I would say is measure what you're putting into the cloud, because eventually it will fall out on the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone, any additional questions?
Yes, Sir Jasmine would like to answer.
Yeah, for the public cloud environment, it's actually a shared responsibility, meaning the public cloud provider, they have their own responsibility in protecting their infrastructure, the availability, right? And for the end user part, is that we need to protect the applications. We need to protect the data that we're putting in the cloud. This is not just putting all those data and let the provider do their thing. No, it's more on us. Also we should have the visibility, right? The strategy as well. Like for example, putting up what we call the security hub, right? Like for example, in AWS, you can re-architect the AWS using firewalls, using internal segmentations between private and public, and probably a three-tier applications. So probably we have web-facing applications, we have application database. So those applications should have micro-segmentations in betweens, right? And at the same time, having a good visibility is actually a very essential on those, let's say, data that goes in and out of the cloud.
Thank you very much. Do you have another?
Just to add to that. So I would say that again, let me just stress again. So when you say cloud, the assumption is that most of the mistakes that are done is that when migrating low workloads from the traditional infrastructure to cloud, they think it's a lift. Just lifting it, just transferring it, it's fine. The truth is it's not. So the language of the cloud is very different from the traditional infrastructure. And that is where the mistakes happen. That's why when there are misconfigurations that happen, it's because in the traditional sense, they talk IP, the IP addresses. When you translate it to cloud, they don't understand IP address, they understand services, right? So there is a disconnect between migrating the application that people think it's the same as in the cloud. And then that's why there are vulnerabilities and ports that are open because they don't understand the nuances of transferring workloads to the cloud. That's why there are tools from our company and different companies. All we do is we do a posture management in the cloud. We check whether your application that you've transferred to the cloud, all ports are secure, all servers are okay. So again, it's a misnomer. Maybe Mr. Jermaine said that, right? You have to assess which data has to be transferred, right? So there has to be a very, very cognizant effort from our people that it's not an ordinary migration, right? The cloud is very different. That's why most vulnerabilities and exposures happen because of misconfigurations. Not really because people intended it to be that way, but it's just because they don't understand the nuances of the cloud.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, so before we continue, meron ba sa audience natin na gustong magtanong?
Yeah.
Baka meron kayong questions?
Yes, if there's someone who wanted to raise a question, there's a microphone there. Or if you want, I could go down for you so that I could hand over the microphone to you. Or if there's none, let's move forward to the next question. Or rather is, what would you say are the top 3 challenges of the Philippine government, or that the government of the Philippines is hampered by in developing their cybersecurity maturity, and what solutions would you propose?
Yes, sir. Okay, siguro pwedeng kahit isa lang muna, no? para lahat maka-answer. Okay, can we give just at least one per panel? You could just give one, at least one. Yes, one lang per panel. Kasi 5 naman kayo. Yes, sir.
I'll take number 1. So in the States, we have this saying, analysis paralysis. There's too much analysis. Start acting. Find out what you want to do and do it. Don't try to wait. It's like getting your iPhone well, I'm going to wait for the 14. I'm going to wait for the 15. Well, you'll never get one. So draw a line in the sand and say, this is where we start. Stop analyzing and move forward.
For me, one of the challenges of the Philippine government, and that's why it's being hampered in its, I guess, with the cybersecurity maturity, is the fact that different organizations and public institutions are not that interoperable and integrated with one another. And one good solution towards that is actually creating that integrating plan. And at the same time, as what Sir said a while ago, you gotta act on it rather than just waiting on it as a big unit rather than different organizations working towards different goals. At the end of the day, we're all working towards the same goal, and that is the security of everyone here in the Philippines. So I guess, we just need to integrate and be interoperable with one another. Thank you.
In my opinion, it's not about the Philippines government itself, it's with a lot of governments globally, that the processes to procure cutting-edge solutions are so cumbersome that by the time you buy the solution, it has already become stale. So we need to cut short the buying processes and get the technology introduced at an early stage so that it stays relevant when it is procured.
I was just talking to the moderator here, right? I think from a perspective of policy building, magaling tayo. Government of the Philippines creates great policy. In fact, the other day, the ICT just presented the cybersecurity plan. So from a policy perspective, we're okay. So what's the challenge? Execution, di ba? So what does execution entail? Like what they all said, right? So analysis paralysis. But siguro from a simple point of view, siguro, di ba, ang challenge budget? Di ba, in the procurement process, we lack the budget and the resource. So we make do with what we have. And then the procurement process, like what you said, no? By the time it's purchased, it's also already obsolete. So it's a continual cycle, right? So that's the problem. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. And last we have is Mr. Jermaine.
For which question? Okay, well, I agree with those challenges. Now, probably one of the challenges is one that we can also consider is, of course, awareness, right? Sometimes the lack of awareness of our people. No, we need to be aware. We need to be enabled when it comes to cybersecurity, and with that, no, that will help us get into maturity on how we do the defense, how we plan things, and of course, additional to that, as mentioned, also budget, right? Because of course, at the end of the day, we need to justify what are the tools that we're going to buy and why do we need it, right? That's of course entails with, of course, the awareness also. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, so thank you very much. And as much as we want to answer all of these questions, medyo wala na po tayong oras. We were really constrained with our time. And bago po tayo pababain yung ating mga lecturers, palakpakan po natin ang ating mga lecturers from our ICT industry partners.
And hope they've been satisfied with all the answers of our experts who are actually
Yes, sir.
present
Okay,
here.
so yung mga hindi po nasagot na tanong, sir, ikaw nang sasagot.
Hindi naman, sir. Apparently, maybe there could be someone who would actually just ask them. Then they just forward the answers to those
Yes,
individuals who raised those questions. Once again, thank you very much, sirs. And for the meantime, we will pause for a while for those. By the way, maybe as we are waiting, there's some kind of park kanina. May natitira pa daw yata yung raffle tayo para as we await. Meron pa ba? Parang nandun sa side, sir. Kindly check it with your colleagues na lang.
Yes, sir. Okay, so thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
And marami pong salamat. Thank you very much.
So please just be seated as we wait for our guest of honor and speaker for this afternoon, no other than the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So for those who wanted to have their bio break, you may do it so, but please do come back, okay? Because the program is not yet over. Thank you very much. By the way, sirs and ma'am, kindly our guest of honor and speaker. Ito naman si agent. May we request other officers to kindly occupy the other seats in front po? Because already our guest and honor speaker is already at the premise. So para at least naman po, sabi nga po natin, kung nasa barko tayo, baka ho lumubog yung barko natin mga sirs and ma'am. At wag naman po tayo matakot, hindi naman po nangangain si TDCS, sir. Baka pwede po may we request those other officers to move forward and occupy the other seats in front po. Marami pong salamat.
Ano to, sir? I-acknowledge mo, ma.
In today's complex digital world, your business is accelerating faster than ever. More people, more devices, more data, in more places than ever. Every company needs to be prepared to protect every edge, in every space, against every threat, on any cloud. Protect what matters most with Fortinet. Cybersecurity, everywhere you need it.
To you, it's your company. One big enterprise where rapid growth drives innovation. But to adversaries, it's an exploitable attack surface with vulnerable internet-facing devices, apps, and cloud infrastructure that span your company, including your subsidiaries, new acquisitions, and even your partners. Would you know if someone was impersonating your brand, using fake websites or social media accounts to steal customer data? Whether it's your intellectual property or customer or employee data, it's important to keep an eye on the dark web, black markets, hacker forums, and other places where data is traded. FortiRecon, Fortinet's digital risk protection service, can help. Powered by our AI and industry-leading FortiGuard Labs threat experts, FortiRecon provides a single solution to monitor what adversaries are seeing, doing, and planning, helping you to counter attacks early. With external attack surface management, dark web monitoring, and brand protection services, FortiRecon identifies and mitigates known and unknown exposed assets and their vulnerabilities, discovers and takes down impersonations, and uses the same techniques as attackers to detect leaked data and threats before they harm your business, giving you time to secure your brand, digital assets, and supply chain. FortiRecon, because your innovation isn't stopping anytime soon.
Arden Networks is a premier information and communications technology distributor that specializes in enterprise solutions.
In today's complex digital world, your business is accelerating faster than ever. More people, more devices, more data, in more places than ever. Every company needs to be prepared to protect every edge, in every space, against every threat, on any cloud. Protect what matters most with Fortinet. Cybersecurity, everywhere you need it.
To you, it's your company. One big enterprise where rapid growth drives innovation. But to adversaries, it's an exploitable attack surface with vulnerable internet-facing devices, apps, and cloud infrastructure that span your company, including your subsidiaries, new acquisitions, and even your partners. Would you know if someone was impersonating your brand, using fake websites, or
In today's complex digital world, your business is accelerating faster than ever. More people. In today's In today's
Akamai, we are revamping the whole digital world, solving the problem of the worldwide wait, and securing the user experience of the world's largest companies. Akamai has created a digital world that connects instantly. Powering the next frontier in digital transformation, Akamai's Intelligent Edge platform is the largest globally distributed platform, offering uncompromised security and unparalleled service. The Edge is the defensive shield that protects everything: sites, users, devices, data centers, and clouds. Akamai's cloud delivery platform brings digital life closer to you and enables immersion.
Our Shield cybersecurity solution fills a really interesting gap in any cybersecurity architecture that exists today. We all have put in firewalls and, in many cases, other technologies to try to help with the daunting set of cybersecurity challenges that almost all organizations face. And yet, we know that because of the rise of zero-day attacks and other things that are happening, that there's still activity that's going on in the networks that we haven't been able to see, we haven't been able to know about. And the Shield technology helps expose those unknown and unseen activities before the bad guys get in and do real damage.
When it comes to your digital operations, who you partner with matters. Many of the world's largest and most complex enterprises, communications service providers, and government agencies trust NetScout to continuously monitor and protect their critical business applications and accelerate their digital transformation efforts. Protecting the uptime and performance of your digital services requires broad and deep visibility across your entire digital infrastructure. We call that visibility without borders. The same level and source of visibility is required to also protect your digital services from cyber attacks. We call that security without borders. We deliver both by combining core competencies of NetScout's borderless visibility with Arbor Network's global threat intelligence and history of internet protection. We are #1 in all our markets, having proven over 37 years that we have the strength, flexibility, and intelligence to solve difficult problems in an ever-evolving digital world. Even in the most challenging times, NetScout has never wavered. Our lean but not mean philosophy drives us to continually innovate and provide our customers with the tools, expertise, and support to maintain control and deliver exceptional and secure user experience. We are continuing to make major investments in new technologies and innovative approaches, finding ways to enhance and improve our industry-leading visibility and security without borders solutions. NetScout is here for you. We are guardians of the connected world.
Whatever we may want, wherever we might go, whenever we start, however we choose, we have the power to define who we are. We achieve great things when we are empowered. We believe in the power of technology that gives us the power to reach, connect, discover, learn, create, excel, protect, heal, love, and the power to smile. Our goal is to empower individuals and organizations to achieve the great things in life through the best technology there is. We believe everyone deserves a better life. We are not here just to provide the best technology, but also to enable our customers to fulfill their greatest goals, today and tomorrow. Bringing more than 20 global technology brands, with partners in more than 100 cities all over the country, supported by more than 600 members of our team. 100% committed leadership, empowering people through technology for 25 years. We are MEC.
To truly know the what and the why of people. We begin with a who. Diving really deep to profoundly know our audience. Develop actionable intelligence to win them over. Who are we? We are Capstone Intel Corporation. We are a private research and intelligence company. We are communication, data science, marketing, public health, public affairs, and research industry movers. Our mission, the acceleration of Philippine growth and development through the timely collection, analysis, and use of information derived from publicly available and open source data and information. Our vision, to be the country's leading private research and intelligence agency providing high-impact research and actionable intelligence to help businesses, governments, and investors solve problems, find solutions, grow markets and constituents, build reputations, navigate risks, and manage crisis. We are highly devoted to the collection and analysis of socio-economic, political, and consumer behavior data and information, converting into breakthrough insights and actionable intelligence. high impact research, actionable intelligence, direct action, performance audit, audience and sentiment insights, data governance roadmap, command center, campaign management, crisis management, competitive intelligence, market research surveys, panel, face-to-face, focus group, customized social listening, strategic communications planning, data governance roadmap planning, competitive intelligence, services and direct action, social influence operations, crisis management operations, brand campaign preparation, brand campaign management operations plan, election management plan, candidate campaign preparation, candidate assessment, issue research, testing and finalization, candidate persona, campaign theme formulation, testing and guidelines, campaign plan, path to victory, steps to victory. Who are we? We are Capstone Intel Corporation. That's who.
to these conference walls. It extends to our workplaces, our communities, and the world at large. The knowledge gained here equips us to confront the challenges of tomorrow, fortify our defenses, and champion the cause of cybersecurity resilience. As we embark on the post-summit journey, let us carry with us the spirit of innovation, the commitment to collaboration, and determination to protect what matters most. Cybersecurity is not a single event. It is an ongoing mission that requires unwavering dedication. In summary, let me play a 4-minute video to recall what transpired during this two-day event. Once again, maraming salamat po sa lahat at mabuhay ang sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Commander Bilbao, for that very precise event synopsis. And moving forward, we are to give a plaque appreciation to our very generous sponsors. Or rather, there's an additional video to be played. So
Yes.
sit back and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our focus ourselves on the screen for the audio-visual presentation. Roll VTR.
So, what motivated us is para madagdagan yung kaalaman namin sa cybersecurity. As we, sa ngayon kasi dinedevelop namin sa organization ng Philippine Coast Guard yung cybersecurity namin. So, mahalaga sa amin yung lahat ng knowledge na makukuha namin sa summit na ito para ma-apply namin siya sa organization.
For this Cybersecurity Summit 2023, I see a lot of government agencies, including Philippine National Police, NBI, Coast Guard, and business partners that supply cybersecurity solutions and ICT partners as well.
Well, actually, in this modern world, we are all now dealing with systems. So our priority right now actually is the redevelopment of our existing hospital information system that will, as I said earlier, to be more accurate in monitoring the status of our patients.
Apart from the new knowledge, I think I'd like to be introduced to new solutions pa rin and update my knowledge. I think the most exciting, interesting part of the day was the talk about National Cybersecurity Plan, because I think that's very relevant for us as policymakers. Thank you so much.
Right now, we are faced with mga traditional cyber crimes and also those things that are state-sponsored and highly organized cyber crimes. Those are the things that we have to address, not just individually, but as collectively, especially in our government and also to our as a nation.
I encourage everyone to engage actively and foster collaboration. The success of mission depends on the synergy of our efforts, uniting the public and private sectors, and government agencies.
Ladies and gentlemen, speakers, fellow digital citizens joining us this year and both online
possibility that I can have the location is a greater part.
Thank you very much. A round of applause to our audiovisual presentation.
So that transpired this day, right?
Yes.
And moving forward, as I mentioned a while ago, we'll proceed with the awarding of the plaque of appreciation to our generous sponsors to make this event happen. And may we request the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Charlton Shan M. Grilan, Philippine Navy Marines, as he will be assisted by Brigadier General Patriarch Robinson PPL, Philippine Army, and Commodore Marcus Yabes Imperio, Philippine Navy, for the giving of the plaque of appreciation. The plaque of appreciation is presented to Fortinet, and the plaque will be received by their representative.
Same plaque is presented to Cisco Philippines.
And the same honor, same plaque of appreciation is presented to Elbit Systems. A round of applause, please.
Same plaque is presented to our ICT industry partner, Redenta.
Same plaque is presented to Bowman Technologies Incorporated.
Same plaque is presented to Solutions Partners Incorporated.
Moving on, same plaque is presented to Marode Services.
Plaque of appreciation is also presented to Beyond Data Incorporated.
Moving on, same plaque is presented to Continent 8.
Same blank is presented to AI Computing Systems.
Moving on, plaque of appreciation is presented to Citrix.
Plaque of appreciation is also presented to Microdata Systems and Management Incorporated.
Moving on, plaque of appreciation is presented to Stellar Cyber.
Same planet is awarded to WatchGuard and Exclusive Networks.
Moving on, plaque of appreciation is also presented to Revolve Solutions Incorporated.
Same blank is presented to Cybercool DevCon Incorporated. Congratulations, sir. As well, blank of appreciation is presented to VersaTest.
Moving on, plaque of appreciation is also presented to Pacific.
Plaque of appreciation is also presented to I1 Resources Incorporated. Same blank is presented to WSI, Vortex Systems Incorporated.
Moving on, same plaque of appreciation is presented to iTrover Solutions Incorporated.
Same blank is presented to NetScout.
Same plaque is also presented to Infovan Communications Incorporated.
Same blank is also presented to ComSource.
given this 27th day of September in the year of our Lord 2023. Signed, Marcos Jabez Imperio, Commodore, Philippine Navy, the Commander of CIS Service Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Thank you very much, sirs, and congratulations to all of our ICT industry partners. Once again, let's give them a round of applause. The Commander, CIS Service Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commodore Marcos Y. Imperio Philippine Navy, will now introduce our guest of honor and speaker.
Before I will do the honors of introducing our keynote speaker this afternoon, the closing ceremony of the AFP Cyber Summit 2023, allow me first to convey, on behalf of the whole AFP Cyber family, I would like to convey our heartfelt gratitude to all the ICT partners who joined us this activity, and of course all the participants na nandito po na nagtyaga for 2 days. I hope that all of us were able to grasp or gain knowledge with regards to the protection of our digital or the cybersecurity or our digital network. So again, thank you very much. This is a continuous process. The education or the awareness for us at the cybersecurity is a continuous process. So again, we'll see you next year during the next iteration of the AFP Cyber Summit. So thank you very much to all of you. I will now proceed to my most honored task this afternoon. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and honor to introduce our distinguished guest of honor and speaker, the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Romeo S. Browner Jr., Philippine Army, represented by the 79th, the Deputy Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Charlton Sian M. Garland, Philippine Navy Marines.
Please be seated. Before I go to the remarks, allow me to greet first the Commander of CSAF, Commodore Marcos Imperio. The Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff for C4 ISTAR, AJ6, Brigadier General Patriarch Robinson Pell. The other flag officers are here today, the other officers, some of our speakers, organizers, the participants during this during the Cyber Security Summit of the AFP. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. First of all, the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Romeo S. Browner Jr., sends his sincerest apologies for not being able to join us today because they are in the Senate defending the budget of the DND and the AFP. Nevertheless, he has tasked me with the privilege of representing him here today and reading his message for everybody. So with that, let me read the message of our Chief of Staff. And I quote, "When I took the helm of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, one of the things I emphasized was the need to enhance our organization's cyber defense capabilities. The urgent need to develop capable cyber units and skilled personnel to secure the country's cyber domain is significant as we shift to our focus into territorial defense operations and advance into a world-class and modernized armed forces. This year's theme securing critical infrastructure, safeguarding the backbone of our digital society is a topic fundamental to the continuity and resilience of our digital society. Safeguarding our critical infrastructure is of greater significance than ever, as technology is fundamentally embedded in every aspects of our lives, economies, and national security. Furthermore, the summit served as a routing beacon for knowledge, providing invaluable insights into current and emerging threats, as well as a glimpse at the most recent ICT and cyber security solutions. Further, this summit is essential to our efforts to strengthen our cybersecurity posture and show our commitment to the cybersecurity efforts of the national government. This summit allows us to learn from the best and brightest minds in cybersecurity, and I am grateful to all the experts who have joined and shared their knowledge and insights. The discussions and interactions over the past days have highlighted the complexity and pressing nature of our current cybersecurity situation. As the threat environment is constantly changing and malicious actors are becoming increasingly proficient, for they are not confined to the physical limitations of cybersecurity. I'm confident that the summit discussions will help us develop a more comprehensive and effective approach to cybersecurity. As we depart from this summit, let us carry forward the information we acquired, the connections we have established, and shared resolve to secure our digital future. Let us be the leaders who not only recognize the challenges that confront us, but who take additional actionable measures to address them. Finally, I would like to thank the organizers and speakers and sponsors for their hard work in putting this important event together. Palakpakan natin po sa mga organizer, yung ating sponsors, and yung mga ating participants. I'd also like to thank everyone for their commitment to this great mission. Together, we can safeguard the backbone of our digital society and ensure a safe and secure future for our country. Stay vigilant, stay secure, and let us forge ahead toward a safer, more resilient digital future. Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mabuhay ang sandahan lakas ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, sir. At this moment, sir, we will have the presentation of Memento.
The memento will be given by the commander of CIS service.
Thank you very much, sir. Before we formally put to a close this two-day activity of our Afp Cybersecurity Summit 2023, we will have first photo opportunities with our guest of honor and speaker, together with our principals.
So may we request the three principals to stay at the center for the photo ops. And this will be the sequence of our photo opportunity.
Please prepare. Next will be our proponents and ICT industry partners.
Now may we request our proponents and sponsors or the ICT partners to join our principals for the photo opportunity.
After sirs and moms, all with our ICT industry partners, we will have our senior officers present in this activity.
May we request to stand by the senior officers to join the group for the photo opportunity. So please stand by, senior officers.
Now may we request all of the senior officers present to join our principals in the photo opportunities.
Our sponsors, please stay because they will just join you. Just stay po. They will just join you po. May we request us to please stand by our private and other government agencies to join.
And last but not the least, may we request to join all of our visitors from our private
and government agencies.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and that concludes our two-day Armed Forces of the Philippines Cybersecurity Summit 2023. Mabuhay ang Armed Forces of the Philippines at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Okay. Okay, you may take your seats because refreshment will be served on your respective seats. Again, we've been your hosts for this 2 days event. My name is Jay.
And I am Ferns.
Signing up. Mabuhay po tayong lahat and maging cyber warriors. Again po, you could go back to respective seats as the refreshment will be served. Thank you very much again to everyone for participating in the success of this AFP Cybersecurity Summit 2023.
In today's complex digital world, your business is accelerating faster than ever. More people, more devices, more data, in more places than ever. Every company needs to be prepared to protect every edge, in every space, against every threat, on any cloud. Protect what matters most with Fortinet. Cybersecurity, everywhere you need it.
To you, it's your company. One big enterprise where rapid growth drives innovation. But to adversaries, it's an exploitable attack surface with vulnerable internet-facing devices, apps, and cloud infrastructure that span your company, including your subsidiaries, new acquisitions, and even your partners. Would you know if someone was impersonating your brand, using fake websites or social media accounts to steal customer data? Whether it's